All right, everyone, I'm trying to understand why there's anybody who would oppose Trump's sanctuary city plan. See, what's happened is this. Basically, the judiciary and Congress are leaning on him to not detain people so much. They're like, well, the situation at the detention centers is deplorable, so you have to let people go. And you can't deport them because, we have clown world immigration laws at this point. We're simply not enforcing pre-existing laws. Congress is literally refusing to enforce laws that it itself passed long before Trump was president. I think that it's, nutty. I think it's totally insane, but, they've got the Ninth Circuit on their side, so SCOTUS really needs to fucking expedite this issue. But we have what's called in this country sanctuary cities, which are places where, of course, you can be an illegal and local law enforcement and state law enforcement in some cases won't interfere. They don't look into it. They don't cooperate with ICE because for some reason that's not, and for some reason that doesn't lead to any repercussions anymore. It's very funny to see the Democrats become a Confederate movement again, I suppose. Yeah. Basically what Trump says is, I've got an idea. I know how to solve all of our problems. You say you want, illegals to be there and you don't have a problem with that. So we're going to bus them to your communities. We're going to take the people from the detention centers, all these families, the women and children shtick, and we're going to put them in your communities. Oh my God, no, you're not allowed to do that, they say, and he's moving forward with it anyway. I'm trying to think. Like, people who support Trump, you shouldn't have a problem with it. Look, the sanctuary cities by SCOTUS are going to get cracked down on anyway, so it's just going to compact the issue into these particular locales. They can pay for the problem. And as for people that are like, maybe you believe in more open borders, or you don't have a problem with illegals, you want amnesty or something, well, who fucking cares then? You want this situation to happen. What does it matter if it's 10 people or 10,000 people that move into your town? Why is it that California wouldn't want, a few tens of millions of more illegal immigrants? Doesn't matter. I mean, they can get driver's licenses and shit too. So, I mean, why are you such a fucking racist, dude? Why are the people? And I'll tell you what it is. It's the gated community, not in my backyard people. It's people in lily white communities. All these so-called the fucking pseudo-intellectual yuppies and a bunch of Starbucks Marxist college kids want open borders, but they live in their gated communities. But if you start busing in 100 times as many people, their gated communities will be overrun. Eventually, you'll need little resettlement centers, and you should put them right in the upper class neighborhoods too. You should put them right in the lily white neighborhoods. That way these people can see the result of their actions. Maybe then they'd start, maybe if they have to live in the real world most people have to live in, then things would be different. It's just, and the liberals will make this same proposal with education. I've heard this argument before. Ban private school and put everyone in public school, and all of a sudden all of these evil rich people will want to fund the schools more. Yes, they would. Well, then, take responsibility for people who don't want to be part of that experiment of having, an open borders, weird society in which the nation state has fundamentally devolved away back into a weird patchwork confederacy, oddly enough, almost more than it has into a globalistic sort of movement. Why do you care? Why do you care how many illegals are in your community? I thought that they were a net positive wherever they happen to be. Oh, no, illegal immigrants are great. Well, yeah, and some of them, by the way, are definitely great people. Well, then you should have more of them. What are you worried about? Your taxes increasing? Fuck the taxes. You want to increase taxes on everyone anyway to pay for your pet programs. I don't see what the problem is. And by the way, I'll say this. Vermont is a sanctuary state. And there are certainly plenty of communities in Vermont that are sanctuary cities, including briefly Rutland, although that's been pushed to the side. Yeah, I support bringing a bunch of illegals here to Vermont, and I'll tell you why. Because then if it causes problems, the people of the state of Vermont maybe will recognize why they shouldn't be voting straight left in every fucking election. Maybe they would realize, hey, immigration is fine, but maybe there should be a legal process for that. Maybe we should not maybe we should not take seriously the Democrats, a political movement that fundamentally has told hundreds of millions of people around Latin America, you can come here illegally and we will not allow you to be deported. And if you get detained, we will make sure that you are eventually released. You should be considered the same as our own tax-paying citizens. That is what the Democratic Party fundamentally believes, or appears to believe. That's basically what it's saying. It's a psychological signal. The biggest problem that we have with immigration is really, it's not even an on-the-ground policy at the U.S. border. It's not deportation or anything. It's the appearance. It's the floor show. It's the fact that a large chunk of our political system has signaled to the rest of the world, you can go ahead and trot all over us and ignore our laws, and there are no real repercussions for that. As for the detention facilities, the basic cause for why this is now happening. Yeah, it's absolutely true that the detention facilities are overrun. Whose fucking fault is that? You aren't even willing to give Trump more funding for border security. Part of that was earmarked for more detention centers. By the way, I don't like the idea of detaining, especially like children and pregnant women. You caused them to come here by signaling that the border was open for business for whoever came. And by you, I mean the left. It wasn't Trump that did that. Trump said he wanted to build a wall. That would have dissuaded people from even making the catastrophically dangerous journey in which fucking half the females get raped on the way here in the first place. They get to the border, half of them get turned into drug mules. Cartels try to draft people. Terrorists filter in among them. You are causing innocent people to suffer. And you're now going to cause people in sanctuary cities to suffer. And I support this move because then maybe those people, when they see the true result of an open border situation, when they see that yes, indeed, enormous numbers of people want to enter your community, and you're not going to be able to stop them because you've set the stage to call people evil if they think that policy should be any different. Why don't you just let those cities that have signaled that they don't have a problem with it take all of the illegal immigrants that get released from the detention centers? We should return to catch and release, only to release them in the sanctuary cities. And then those, they can't legalize those individuals unilaterally. The federal government has to do that, and that's obstructed right now. So enjoy at least 2 more years of struggle, probably 6. Then some liberal president will come in and try to do what Obama did with executive amnesty. You remember that, right? You do remember that Obama, who when he initially ran, he was actually more of a hardliner on immigration. He's like, well, it hurts the American worker and stuff. He did the Bernie Sanders shtick all over again. You Bernie bros are being totally fucking conned by Bernie Sanders. You realize, go back and hear what Obama had to say around 2007 about immigration. Sounds kind of similar now, doesn't it? What do you think he's going to do? No, he'll do the same as Obama in, 2013 or something. Executive amnesty. Well, I'm just going to sign my little piece of paper here and legalize 4 million people. Well, then the court shot it down and said, no, Mr. Obama, you can't do that. You can keep them from being deported actively by refusing to do your job, but you can't actually give them residency. That's why Trump can't unilaterally deport everybody. But he can release them in the country. I love this program. I think it's a great idea. And it trolls the left. It trolls the same people. They're not in my backyarders. They'll say, like, we need prison reform. But if you say that you want that prisoner's rehab facility in their neighborhood, they don't want it. We need more green energy, but don't you put those windmills near my house. Oh, immigration is great, but don't you resettle them here. Migrants, we need to help asylum seekers, refugees, but don't you put the resettlement program in my neck of the woods. That's what these people are. And that's most of the liberals. That's the whole problem. That's about all. Peace out.